The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where Wally teaches and where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. This podcast is also brought to you by United Faith Mortgage. Let their direct lender advantage save you time and money.
Uplifting Way FM.
News can be a little heavy, so we like to do news-ish. Here's Betty.
When it comes to your marriage and driving, does one person typically drive you two around more than the other?
Yes, like I drive, but my wife asked me to drive. Like we just got her, we picked up her new car the other day, and she was like, well, you can drive home. I'm like, it's your new car. Why would you not want to drive this home? And so she typically defaults to me. She doesn't like to drive.
Gavin, is that the same for you?
I do most of the driving. My wife enjoys driving, but I don't like.
But she scares you.
Yeah, I don't like her driving. She has the tickets to back that up.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, I found this article that stated many are nervous when riding with their spouse behind the wheel.
Yes.
Now, I could see Marty, your wife, Wally, being nervous because you probably are highly critical of what she does.
Yeah, when she's driving, she makes me nervous.
Yeah.
And she speeds up and slows down, and there's things she does I don't understand. I'm like, there's just guy rules of driving that, you like if you're going to pass somebody, go ahead and fully pass them and then switch lanes. Don't just get up to the side of them and be like, you know what, I'm going to sit here and talk for a minute. No, just pass them, please.
Wow. So I see now why she's nervous. But if you found yourself in the passenger seat with a feeling of a lack of control that's making you uneasy, the top things you do to try and gain some form of control is checking to see that everyone inside the vehicle has their seatbelt on.
My wife does that. She's big on that. Even in the back seat. Like,
when you're driving?
Oh, no. When anyone is in the car.
Okay. Another is constantly checking the speedometer.
Oh, for the love. Yes. And
she does that to you?
She's passive-aggressive about it now because she knows it bothers me. So I'll be driving and she'll be like, what was the speed limit here? I forget. And then I'm like, I don't know. I think it's 100. And then she's like, okay, it's not 100. You're going too fast. I'm like, am I really? I don't know. Am I?
Wow. Healthy. And finally, just spending the whole time wishing your spouse would slow down. Now, whether you're vocal about that or just keeping it in your mind, that's your final way of just trying to gain some kind of control.
She tells me now, she's like, would you please slow down? You're scaring me. I'm like, okay, that's a little dramatic, honey. But she I
don't know. If you're already talking about just pass them, go 100. I wouldn't want you behind the wheel either.
The problem for her is, and I realize it's a me problem because she's taught me that. I've learned. I'm very smart now. I just go, okay, you're right. But I can be distracted if we start talking. You guys have seen it on the show. When you guys talk to me right before we go into a break, if you mention anything other than what we're going into, my mind goes there, and then I'm like, what are we doing? What? And so it's the same way if I'm driving. We'll be driving a route I always know. She'll ask me a question. I'll start thinking about it, and then I'll just turn the wrong way because I'm thinking about what she asked me.
Yes.
And so I realize it's unfair to get frustrated with her because she never knows when I'm going to be distracted. Sometimes I'm highly focused, and so the things she's telling me are annoying. And then the other times it's like, yeah, you're right, I am distracted. I needed that guidance.
It sounds like Marty needs to do more driving than you.
I have full disclosure, when it was annoying me very much, and I have said, okay, I will pull over and you can drive. I have no problem with that. I don't mean to be passive aggressive. I don't mean to be short. I don't mean to come off angry. I think it would just be better if you want to drive. And then, of course, like, no, you're doing fine. So I'm sure there are these conversations that you've had in your car as well. So don't judge me. Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show. And so recently my wife, she had a 2009 car, and so it was time for us to get another car. And so we did that, and I started thinking about all those commercials during Christmas especially, where the wife walks downstairs, she opens up the window, and she looks outside and sees a brand new car with a giant bow on it, and
it it doesn't seem realistic.
Yeah, you're like, how does that happen? My wife knows everything I do. She knows every move I make. She knows every dollar that's in the account.
And rightfully so.
Yeah, like how does somebody get away with purchasing a new car for somebody, not telling them, not putting them on the title, and then, I mean, you got to add them later, I guess, but then all of a sudden it's like, hey, here's your new car.
Yeah.
Like, that's an extravagant gift that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, and also you think about like the taxes, okay? So not only are you gifting them a new car, you're also gifting them with a new payment plan.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, I'm curious, because I can't even, there's no way. I have the hardest time just buying my wife normal Christmas presents without her, figuring out what I'm doing. I have to turn my Apple tracker off, so she doesn't know where I'm going.
Wow, she should work for the FBI.
Yeah, I know. Boy, this sounds really unhealthy when I say it out loud, but it's not that way. Because I don't want her to know where I've gone, because and we always say, okay, don't look at our credit card statements during December, so you don't know where we've been shopping, because I want the surprise. But I don't see how someone surprises somebody with a car or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it seems impossible.
So here's what I'm curious about, okay? What is that big purchase that you surprised your spouse with, and how in the world did you do it? Because I'm just perplexed by this. I would have loved to have surprised my wife with a car. That would have been really cool. But I just can't see that happening in my world.
And maybe you're a great liar. Maybe that's how you got away with it.
Yes.
And if so, share a few tips.
I can't lie. My wife, I get stupid face. Betty Rock knows about this. Like, she'll ask me a question, and my face does this weird look.
It's like a deer in headlights look.
And then it's like, I'm busted, And so we call it stupid face at my house. And so why my wife named it that, I don't know. What is that big purchase that you surprised your spouse with? 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. I would love to get your story and how you did it right now. What was a big purchase you surprised your spouse with?
I surprised my husband with Laker tickets Christmas Day to go with my two brothers and my father while Shaq and Kobe were still playing together.
Man.
And it took some coordination because I had to get information from my brothers who thought I was doing it for someone else. And we sent them all. And the best gift is all the girls in the house didn't cook dinner on Christmas Day. We sent them off. They had hot dogs and an amazing game, and it was a life memory for them, and it was a great evening for the women.
I'm sure he enjoyed it, but does this set the bar pretty high for you to exceed it next Christmas?
No, it sets the bar high for him, because now he has to reciprocate.
That's
See,
right.
That's why it's not worth getting a great gift, because it makes more pressure on you for next year. So what was the biggest surprise that you purchased for your spouse?
Wedding anniversary. I bought her a cruise to go on. I had to get childcare, and I did it behind her back. Her cousin kept our kids for us, and I gave her a card that had, going on a cruise. She looked at me and said, "How are we doing that?" And I said, "Well, it's already done."
Wow. See, that's good, because there's a lot that goes into booking a cruise, and you've got to get information. So you had to know a lot about her. You had to know, her birth date and other things like that.
Things that all husbands should know about their wives.
A lot of things he had to know about her. All right, Eric, you're up. What was that big purchase you hid from your spouse?
I hid a new car from my spouse.
You did? We bought my wife a car, but I can't even imagine doing that without her. A, I would get the wrong color, and B, she knows where the money goes. How did you do this?
Well, I kind of had an idea what she wanted, but our bank actually does a service where they actually go find you a car. We talked about it for a month. I told the bank that, we share accounts, and they said, okay, we'll wait till after Christmas before we run everything through.
Oh.
So they actually kept it secret for me as well. So 2 days before Christmas, I went and picked it up. My neighbors were in on it, so I parked it in their garage the night before Christmas. But here's the funny part. She had also bought me a kayak that I had no idea, and my neighbors had that on the side of their house. So my neighbors were in on this whole thing on both sides of the story.
And what's so not fair for your neighbor, the husband, it's like his wife is like, look at this. They're buying each other cars and kayaks. What did you get me? Uplifting WAY-FM, this is the Wally Show. We like to help you out with information that can be beneficial to your life, and we do it in the form of a thing called the scoop. So Betty Rock is here to give you the scoop on what?
The scoop on keeping safe with online dating.
Oh, okay. Now that's interesting. That's not something I need right now. And so
Right now.
No, what I don't. Ever. Something I need. Yeah, thank you. It's amazing how one word can change a sentence.
You chose it.
It's my fault.
So here's what happens. You find someone online. You think you're interested in them. You think they're interested in you.
Yes.
And you want to build that relationship. But to get closer, you sometimes will send photos. Be like, oh, here's me going kayaking with my friends or whatever.
Yeah, you want to put your best foot forward and show them that you're fun.
Exactly. But there is a former detective on TikTok who's saying you need to be careful when you send photos.
Really?
Because your phone stores exact locations of those photos, also the time that picture was taken, and even what kind of phone or camera you have.
Really? So if you just send that photo, someone else can see that information if you have it all turned on?
Yeah, so let's say you're taking a selfie on your porch and you send that photo, they're going to know your home address.
Oh.
So that's super unsafe.
Yeah.
So he says there's a simple tip to fix this.
I know what it is. Take all your photos from your neighbor's house. That way, if anyone gets murdered, it ain't you.
Okay, that is not the solution.
Okay, all right.
It's a simple solution of taking a screenshot of the photo that you want to send.
Because the screenshot doesn't save that.
The screenshot does not save any of that information, so you can send that without with knowing that you're okay.
So
like
you're still
keeping your safety.
So you're still just sending a fun photo that represents you, but then you're being safe about it. Because online stuff can be tricky, you know. And I know you've navigated those waters before.
I mean, there's on the ID channel they have a show that's just dedicated to stories about online dating.
Yeah.
So it can be dangerous, and people make themselves seem normal when they really aren't. So the better you can be at keeping yourself safe, the safer you'll be. Nothing is safer than safety.
Exactly. And there you have it. That's your scoop for today. Thank you, Lady Rock.
Coffee shops, poolside, back porch, picnic table at the park, at your kid's soccer practice. Just about anywhere can be your classroom when you decide to go back to school online at Colorado Christian University.
I know I got my degree online, and I actually did a homework at a campsite. I was sitting around a campfire writing a paper. That is where I did some of my work that weekend. So life doesn't have to stop just because you go back to school to better yourself. You can work towards this future and this goal that you want to accomplish, and it doesn't have to totally consume you or derail your normal life with friends, your family, or what have you.
And you can earn accredited degrees from Colorado Christian without ever setting foot on campus.
So there really shouldn't be an excuse to not going back to school. If it's something you really want to do, you can do it. And all you have to do is go to ccu.edu/Wally to learn more. And the other really important thing is that Colorado Christian is committed to cultivating the mind without compromising the heart. So check it out, ccu.edu/Wally.
Uplifting Way FM.
Wonder if Wally will have an opinion on this.
Wally, I respect you, but word to the wise, never trust a short man named Wally.
It's the Wally Show.
Well, if you've flown lately and had no problems and got to your destination on time, then you are a unicorn, because that just doesn't seem to happen much anymore. Delays and cancellations in the airline industry are running rampant, and it's making it harder and harder to travel with your family because it's just too unreliable. And you're paying a grip of money for the inconvenience, you know?
Yeah, they cancel flights for nothing,
well,
and then you have to get on the phone with them, try and figure out something else.
Hours it takes. And so if you're trying to wrangle your kids while you're doing that, and they're like, when are we going to Disney World? And you're like, we're trying to get there, but this airline hates you. You know, like you get so frustrated as a parent sometimes. So like over the past weekend, for example, airlines on the East Coast recently canceled over 2,700 flights in 2 days. And so why is this happening? What are the experts saying? Well, more people are flying, especially to Florida. They're back up to pre-pandemic levels of travel, and their staffing is jacked up. They haven't rapidly increased enough staff to continue to meet the demand.
This goes back to my question. What are people doing? I went to meet a friend of mine for lunch. It took us 10 minutes just to get seated. There was only one person that was being like waitressing all the tables.
Right.
That's crazy. What are people doing where they can stay home and still pay their bills?
A lot of pilots were furloughed, and so they got early retirement packages to keep them afloat. And now the bailout money that they got from the government is gone, and so they're having to hire very specialized things. You can't just go find a pilot anywhere, with the experience to do this. So it takes longer to staff up. Also, air traffic controllers, they're low on staff for them as well.
And you don't want just anyone like any Jenkins just walking off the road and saying, I can do that.
Here might be the flimsiest excuse for me, though, of all of this stuff. So they always blame weather, because if they blame weather, then they don't have to pay you or compensate you or really treat you like a human. And so they blame weather.
Bitter much? Party of one?
Yeah, trust me, I had a bad experience last week. There are weekly rocket launches now from Florida that they say are limiting the number of planes that can enter the airspace, resulting in flight cancellations.
This is Jeff Bezos' fault, and what's his face?
Yeah, Elon Musk.
Yes, it's their fault.
I think they got together and went, all right, people are going to go crazy on us. What's something they can't really prove? Let's go with that as our thing. So, unfortunately for flyers, though, again, airlines aren't required to compensate you for weather controls or delays and things like that. Also, the other problem is they have less flights. They're doing less routes now, and they're filling the planes. So when there's a cancellation, there's nothing to book you to.
Oh.
And so, I mean, they're hoping that people just get frustrated and cancel their trips, basically.
Oh,
or you have to wait 2 days to then take your trip. It's not a good situation right now. And so the bailout money's gone. They're trying to get staff back up. But if you're wondering why that is, it's mainly staffing issues across the board for the airlines and stuff. So if you choose to venture into the wild blue yonder, pack your sunscreen and some extra patience, because you are going to need it. Also, take all that stuff you just packed, put it in a carry-on. Don't check it, because they'll lose your luggage like they did mine. There it is. Yes, I did have an opinion, it turns out.
We're just going to do a little word association.
You think you're hot because you know words.
Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show. Do you want to win a Way FM prize pack right now and play a little game with us? Yeah! It's called our Wordsmith Game. We play a lot of great songs. You listen to them all day long, but how well do you really know them? We're going to give you the lyrics to a song one word at a time, and you're going to be taking on somebody, and you're going to have to try to buzz in before them when you think you know it. Only after hearing some of the lyrics, and you're not getting the hook, because that's too easy.
And this should be easy.
We'll see.
If you know your Christian pop songs.
Well, we're going to see how well you do. You and Gavin are going to take each other on right now. Betty Rock, if you think you know the answer, what do you say?
Gavin.
That a girl. No, Betty.
Betty.
And then Okay, you guys do it. You however you want to do it. All right, so when you think you know, chime in. Here we go. One word at a time, okay?
Okay.
This. Nothing?
Nope.
Is.
Betty.
Yes.
Building 429. This is not where I belong.
Oh, that's a great guess.
No!
That was really good. You went in quick. Okay, so let's see if Gavin can get it now. This is the sound. Betty knows it.
This is the sound of.
Come on.
I know, and I love all of our music too.
Dry.
Bones rattling.
Oh.
By.
Oh, Betty didn't know it.
Oh, so it was rattled by. Is that Bethel music?
It's by Bethel Elevation Hillsong. They're all the same.
I was thinking of the Freedom Hymn.
This is my freedom
hymn.
hymn.
This is the sound of chains breaking. This is the sound of a heart changing. This is the sound of a this is my freedom hymn.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
This is my freedom.
You would think we would
That's an
know
Austin
these better.
French song.
That is Austin French. You got that part right.
But it
Nicely
wasn't
done.
that?
No.
It was Rattle by Elevation Worship.
I
All
lost
right.
twice.
Yeah, you would have. So well, you know what? That's good news, though. You're the biggest loser today. So
Hey.
good job.
Hey.
You win. Ish. All right, so if you want to play, this is going to be tough. I think this is going to be harder than you think. So, man, if you're that person that lives on the radio station and loves Way FM and listens to all the songs, this could be your shining moment. 855-33 Way FM. If you want to play along with us, 855-33 Way FM. We'll do a little wordsmith with you right now.
We're just going to do a little word association.
You think you're hot because you know words.
Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show. We're playing a new game called the Wordsmith Game, where if you listen to Way FM all day, this should be right in your wheelhouse. And if you love the music we play, all you have to do is tell us what song we are talking about. But we're only going to give you the lyrics one word at a time. If you think you know, you chime in with your name. In this case, Melanie, you would scream out, Melanie, as loud as you can. Same for you, Peyton. So you can jump in at any time you think you know, but if you get it wrong, your competitor gets to keep hearing words until they get it. So here we go. We're going to start with Gavin. What is the song you're putting up here?
We got to stay awake because nobody knows the place or time.
I know it, and I can't think of it. No, like I know, but I don't know the name of the song.
Oh, you do? Do you know any of the lyrics that would come after that? Because. Did that help?
Yeah. Oh, the trumpet's gonna blow. The trumpet's gonna blow, and the sky's gonna open wide.
All right, time's up on this one. Gavin?
That was Jordan Felice's new song, Jesus is Coming Back.
Oh, that was nice.
Cue both of them feeling silly right now. It always happens. Like, you get it, and you're like, yes, that was it. Okay, so no points there. Betty Rock, give them yours.
All right. He makes a way.
Peyton,
what do you think?
Let Me Tell You About My Jesus by Ann Wilson.
Yes! There you go. Okay, synapses are starting to fire. Here we go. Question number 3. I can't go back in time. They're going to get it in a second. I don't have a DeLorean. It's on the tip of her tongue.
Not working.
I can't go back in time. I don't have a DeLorean. You're doing great here, Peyton. Melanie, you still with us?
Melanie is completely failing today, y'all.
Well,
like how legitimate thought I'd be good at this game, and I am not.
Does anybody have a guess?
I know that line, and I cannot think of the song. It's early, but I honestly don't know the name of it.
You're going to kick yourself. Time is up, which means with a grand total of 1 point, Peyton has somehow won this game. Congratulations, Peyton. That was Matthew West. What if? What if? Yeah, see, this game makes you feel silly because you hear it and you're like, oh, I totally know it now. Well, congratulations, Peyton. You are the big winner today. Melanie, we have a lovely parting gift for you just for stinking it up so badly.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Yes, we still love you. Way FM, this is The Wally Show. If you missed our live yesterday on Facebook, you can still check it out. We did a slippity slide show. We haven't done this in a while. It's where if one of us goes on vacation or we're gone and we've got some pictures, we share the pictures and tell the stories about them. And so my wife and I had done like a 30th anniversary cruise in the Mediterranean, so it was like a big trip for us. It was a lot of fun, and I was sharing pictures from that. Like one of the pictures is our excursion in Santorini that completely felt like every travel movie with a couple, and the exotic tour host that is there taking you around. The guide is like this hunky Greece guy. This guy's got a man bun. He's got like perfectly tanned skin, and then it's great. It's time to get in the water, and he's like, "We swim now!" And then he magically reappears from the back of the boat in a Speedo. Oh no! Yeah, it was amazing. So much fun, and so we share a bunch of the stories and some of the funny and weird things and frustrating things that happened on that trip.
Exactly. So if you missed it and you'd like to view the slideshow that is Wally's vacation,
I will say this caveat: there is no picture of that guy in his Speedo. Thank goodness. Nothing to worry about.
Goodness.
No, me on the other hand.
No, there wasn't that either. Thank goodness either. Yeah, that's for sure. Just go to facebook.com/Wally Show and you'll see it on our feed right there. Just go to facebook.com/Wally Show.
The more you know.
Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show. Remember that old thing on TV, the more you know, and they learn you something? I always like that. I have something that I did not know that I have learned, and I'm curious if you find this as fascinating as do I, okay? So NASA has fueled a huge moon rocket for the first time this past Monday, and they went ahead with a critical countdown despite a testing leak there in the fuel. But I didn't even know NASA was still a thing. I thought NASA kind of got taken out after the space shuttle stuff, and we were privatizing all of rocket flight.
And it could.
Yeah.
It could, but still, it's a thing.
But it's not. It is a thing.
Right.
It's still a thing. Like, so apparently there's a plan, too. I didn't even know about this. There's a plan to send people to the moon again. I thought that had gotten scrapped as well. So this is the first thing, is they're going to do a flight that's unmanned, and it's going to go up and around the moon and come back, okay? So that's like the plan number one that they're trying to do like in August, okay? So then the second flight is planned for 2024, and it would send a crew around the moon and back. Okay, so then it's going to take a crew there. Okay. And then the third mission, no earlier than 2025, has astronauts landing on the moon again. Like, how cool is that?
When was the last time that happened?
68?
1972. I just Googled
72,
it.
okay.
It was the last time we set foot. And in my head,
I think the first person was 68, though.
I think
because
so.
it was the year I was born, so I don't remember it. So this is a time...
68 and 72,
Yeah.
and since then, have other countries landed on the moon?
Russia, I think, did something with the moon, but I don't know. They might have had one person land on there, Yuri Gagarin, or maybe he just circumnavigated. I don't remember. But anyway, not important. We don't like them right now. No. But the thing is, like, in our lifetime here, in the next couple years, we could experience that excitement that they experienced back in the 60s and early 70s about putting a man on the moon and seeing it happen. And actually, now it being real, because it was fake back then. Just kidding. A lot of people, there's a whole conspiracy theory that it was fake.
Yeah, and this one you could prove.
Oh, easy
more.
Now. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that's a thing. And the last time, like Gavin said, was 1972 with NASA's Apollo program. And the new program that they're doing is named Artemis.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right, exactly.
Why?
Because it's Apollo's twin sister in Greek mythology. So it's an homage to the Apollo program.
Nice.
It's so, like, NASA's great at naming things. Our government's horrible. Remember Operation Fly Formula? Nicely done. Like, they next time the government needs to name something, call NASA, because they kind of rule at it. They say the only certain thing in life is change. Hey, it's Wally, and sometimes life throws changes at you, like moving for work, or other times you just want to change your surroundings and move. Whatever the case may be for you, my friend Ryan and his team at United Faith Mortgage can help. There are so many mortgage companies with so many offers. I asked Ryan, how do you know if any of those are good for me?
I get that question quite a bit, and one thing I always tell people to be wary of is when you see these advertisements, typically they're not disclosing whether there's any points involved to buy down the interest rate, etc. Usually when it sounds too good to be true, it is.
And that's why I would encourage you to talk to the people I trust with my loans. United Faith Mortgage will actually be looking out for what's best for you, and that's because they're not only professionals, they're also faith-based. Plus, there's never any pressure. I genuinely like Ryan personally and not just professionally. So whether you need or just want to move, check out United Faith Mortgage. Start online, call anytime. UnitedFaithMortgage.com.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
TMI, my friends. Also known as Today's Music Insider with Gavin.
We definitely live in a time and age when a lot of people are telling us that what you feel is the most important thing when you're making a decisions. And in the Christian world, we use the phrase, the world says this, but God says this about us. And I think we're at this point where those two things are really clashing with each other.
Yeah, I mean, because you substitute, God's truth for what we call our truth, and that's a dangerous thing because you're putting yourself in the center of the world, and your truth can actually be, I know this is going to be hard for you to wrap your head around, millennials and Gen Z, your truth can be wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it can be yours.
What?
Absolutely.
No, my truth is everyone's truth.
It can be yours, but it can be wrong, just like my truth can be wrong, too. That's why it's dangerous,
And then there was Mark Hall, who is a Gen Xer? What are you?
I'm Gen X.
Okay, so he's a Gen Xer. He was, the lead singer of Casting Crowns. He was echoing this same sentiment regarding our feelings and what we believe we should do with them on stage at this concert, and I thought it was really powerful.
My feelings might be valid, but that doesn't make them true. What's true about you is what God says about you. So what you hear in my songs is just everyday life. This is a problem. This is how I feel. And I have to hate it out like this, and then I have to let God tell me the truth about my feelings.
Yeah, because your feelings can lie to you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing in our faith and just in life in general, because the way you feel about something does not mean, like he said, doesn't mean it's accurate. You can have your feelings distorted, by other things in your life that give you an inaccurate view of what's going on, and that's not healthy. And that's why your faith, what the Bible says about who you are, what the Bible says about who God is very important too, because you can have a distorted view of God.
Oh yeah.
I think most people at some point in time in their life that they're trying to figure out who God is get a distorted picture of him. I know I still, to this day, there's times I see God one way and other times I see him in exact opposite way.
I think being a Christian, it's not like flipping a switch and you just have it all together.
Right,
it's constantly like a growing process, and sometimes you're going to fall and you got to get right back up and try again.
I remember talking to Mark Hall when he was going through his cancer treatments, and he said, there are days that I get up and I don't feel good. I don't feel God, and he's like, and it's in those moments that feeling runs smack dab into the truth that I know about God that I've put into my soul, and so it's cool. He's still echoing that same type thing, and that's a guy that walked through something really difficult as well. Because it's easy to look at people that haven't seemed to have gone through something and go, well, of course you have that perspective. But when you've battled something like cancer and things like that, and you still walk out of that saying God is good, even in the midst of it, that's a powerful statement on your faith. So there you go. That's going to do it for your TMI. Thank you, Gavin. Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show, and you spend so much time at work, it's only natural that a lot of your work might bleed into your personal life. And this came to my mind the other day is I was following behind one of those bank trucks, the money trucks that pick up money from all the different places. And it was funny because I'm sitting there at a light following them, and then they turn left. And I turn left. Ooh. And then we're in the same lane. And then they go straight for a little bit and turn right, and I turn right. Then we make another right and then a left. I'm going the exact same place apparently they're going. But I would have to think at some point in time, someone in there had a conversation and is like, there's a truck following us. I
don't know who you are, but I will find you.
And there's like a big guy in that truck that looks ominous and scary.
No, there's a little clown in that clown truck that's following us. I'm not too scared.
Yeah. So, but it made me think, like, if they were cognizant of me being back there, that's their job. But when you go home, are you like super suspicious of people? Like they carry money back and forth all the time and they're kind of looking at things and looking over their shoulder. Does that happen to you in your real life?
I would think that'd be hard to break that habit, especially when you have to do it 8 hours probably out of the day.
Yeah. Like my job in radio made me super jaded. Like in my personal life.
That was just you.
No, it wasn't. You didn't know me back then, Rock. This is before here. Like when I first started in radio, I was like this bright-eyed, optimistic kid.
No.
That, I swear to you, believed the best in everybody. I was that guy that you're like, oh my gosh, he's so happy. And then I got into radio and it jaded the heck out of me. Like it really did. I'm not lying to you. Ask my wife because she knew me back then. But it changed the way I was in my personal life, and so I'm trying to get rid of some of that.
Are you?
Not really, but it sounds good. 855-33-WAY FM. We love having you on the show with us. That's 855-33-WAY FM. I would love to know if something that you do for a living kind of started to seep into your personal life and changed you in your personal life. Okay.
And it could be like if you're a doctor or a nurse and you're very aware of germs.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You go out and you like use gloves for everything.
Yeah. And it could be something for the positive too. You never know. So 855-33-WAY FM. We love having you on the show with us. That's how you can get in right now. 855-33-WAY FM. What do you do for a living, and how has it changed you personally?
I actually am a teacher, and so I find that I will kind of offer my unasked for a correction of other people's children out in public. Like, oh, you really shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Or, oh, don't touch that, buddy.
But do you go, it's okay, I'm a teacher. It's okay, I'm a teacher. I can do
I know,
this.
I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. This is all day I do this. Or I also worked part-time at one of Betty's favorite shopping spots with the candles. And,
Bath and Body.
I would, yes. At holiday time, as you know, Betty, when you're shopping, or candle day, there's long lines. So they would put me as the line leader because I would instruct people on what to do and what not to do.
You know what? I'm not sure if it's just you're a teacher or you're just bossy. You know?
You know, I do have a shirt that I wear to school sometimes to remind the kids that I am the boss.
There you go.
Yes.
I love
boss
it.
lady.
What is something from your job that carried into your personal life?
I'm part of the DOD, and I have been deployed before, and I've seen the worst of people. So it just makes me kind of steer clear of people as a whole, even though I'm not deployed anymore.
I could totally see that, dude. I see it like with cops and stuff, too. Like, they see the worst in people, and they're used to being lied to every day. So you would just assume everyone's going to do that. That would be a really hard journey back to trust and value people after you've seen the worst.
I mean, it's been a long time, and I do see a lot of good in a lot of people these days, but it's just initial impressions are hard for me. If they come off wrong, then it takes a long time for me to want to trust somebody, but I've got a lot of really good friends that I hang out with on a regular, so it definitely helps keeping people that you trust around, and it helps you want to trust people again as a whole.
Yeah, as somebody who's never served, I don't think we fully understand what goes on in deployments and how it does definitely affect you in your personal lives when you come back. And so do you feel like you got the support that you needed in coming back, or was it super challenging? You felt like you're on your own?
Oh, no, I was definitely not on my own. That's one thing they do that's really good for all of us, is they give us every bit of support that we need. It's not like the Vietnam War way back when you know, they were completely hated and all that. Everybody loves us pretty much these days. You still get the occasional crazy person out there, but for the most part, you get anything that you need to help you reintegrate.
Good. Well, you guys deserve that, man. We appreciate your service and what you've done for all of us here, so thank you.
Absolutely. I appreciate the support.
What is your job, and how did it change your personal life, Heather?
I'm a private investigator.
Okay. So you trust no one.
Yeah, pretty much. And for me, it's really hard because I'm trained in statement analysis, and I pay really close attention to certain words that people use and certain body language and whatnot. So it's really difficult not to use that in my personal life, because I can pretty much tell when a person is not being honest or not telling me the whole truth.
Well, see, that to me would be a win in having that job. So when has that helped you, when you noticed somebody wasn't telling you the truth?
Yeah, I mean, I've been right, but
I guess sometimes having a superpower like that isn't really the greatest thing in the world, but still, I would love to be a private investigator.
I would too.
It's so cool. I'd love to have a big mustache like Magnum P.I.
Me too.
I know. Well, you kind of are working on it. All right, potties, you're making a difference because of you and the people that listen to the show on Way FM terrestrially, if you want to call it that. We have sent over 47,000 meals to the people that are struggling in Ukraine after they've been displaced because of the war. That is pretty stinking amazing. And I love the fact that you're getting to partner with us in ministry right now in a very tangible way. You're not only helping feed people, but you're also making sure that they get the gospel as well. So thank you so much. But sadly, as the war stretches on, the need is still there and becoming greater. Here's the great news, though. It only takes 25 cents to send one meal. So for about the cost of a dinner out for you and your family, you could make sure that a couple hundred meals are sent to Ukrainian refugee families. Can you imagine what a relief that is for moms who have no idea how they're going to feed their kids from day to day? This is truly ministering to the orphans and widows, like the Bible says in James. And we'd love to keep that going and send another 25,000 meals to Ukraine in just the next couple weeks. I'm in. I'll never ask you to do something I'm not willing to do myself. So if you want to help out, just text the word Wally to 91999. And again, thank you so much for even considering this. And let's make a difference. Let's do something huge today. Again, text the word Wally to 91999.
These are the least important stories out of Hollywood, but nonetheless entertaining. Here's Betty Rock with the least of these.
Young adults with disabilities are a group of people who I'm sure get overlooked often. And my heart goes out to parents who have children with disabilities because I'm sure they worry about the future and what that looks like. And that's why I love hearing about PACS. It's a program in Ohio that teaches employment and life skills to students with multiple disabilities.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is awesome. And every year they have an annual luau. And this year the school asked Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson if he could attend.
I love that. That's a big ask because he's a very big star and he's very busy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, The Rock couldn't make it work with the schedule. I know.
The Rock, you're the worst. No.
But instead of just ignoring them or writing it off, he made a video that played during the luau event.
Okay.
And it was talking to these kids saying how honored he was to be invited. And to make up for his inability to attend, he sent each student a gift package. What's inside the gift package?
I'd love to know.
An Xbox.
Nice.
An Xbox
Nice.
for each student.
I like that.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of money. That's a
But
nothing
still,
amount of money to him.
Like, that's awesome.
No, that is really cool.
It's so cool. And you know those kids will remember that for the rest of their lives. And all it took was him just sending out his
assistant to
yeah,
go do
it's being
it,
like,
right.
buy 80
Right.
Xboxes. I don't know.
But you know what? He took the time and he cared about that. I think that's really cool. I love seeing celebrities that care about their fans or about people and they'll go that extra mile. Because, I mean, it is still, you still have to sign off on it. And there's decisions that have to be made and conversations that maybe you don't have time for, but you make the time. So that's really cool.
I know.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wish Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would send me an Xbox.
Maybe we should write him and ask him if he wants
It's
to
a
be on the
great
show.
idea. Let's make up some charity or something.
No, too far.
Okay, bad
Too
idea.
far.
You're right. That's why you're here. You're here to rein me in. Thank you. Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show. And sometimes you get something, you're like, okay, this is pretty great. And then there comes a time where that's pretty great flips. And you're like, well, I don't like this anymore. I think I'm ready to move on from this.
Yeah, so recently I was at one of my best friend's house spending the night. And she has 2 kids, 9 months and 4 years old. Yeah. And so, typically for me as a single girl, I like to sleep late on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But I found through spending the night at her place, sleeping in is not a thing.
No, not when you have kids.
It doesn't happen. No. And so I would wake up like 7:30, 8:30, 9:30.
Yeah.
And it just made me realize I'm glad I don't have kids.
Oh, absolutely.
But also it makes me wonder, are there things that you maybe wished for in life and then you got them and you're like, I'm ready to give those back.
Yeah, I'd give that back. Yeah, I wish my kids came with a receipt.
my goodness.
Yeah, so I could return them. Yeah.
But you know that kids can't be the only thing. Like, there's so many things we wish for in life, and we think if I get that, that's when I know I've hit it. I've made it. But then you get it and you realize, it's
sometimes
not all it's cracked up to be.
Headaches come with that stuff too.
Yes.
You know, like the thing you thought was going to make you happy and then it ended up not.
That new puppy that's going to make you so happy, and then it wakes you up because it needs to go to the bathroom at 2 a.m. in the morning. Want to give that back.
That puppy had a name in my household. It was Sammy. He was a great little dog, but I'm not a dog person. And we found Sammy a lovely home just 3 months after having him.
Understandable.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about it with you. 855-33-WAY FM. That's how we can always have you on the show with us. 855-33-WAY FM. What is that thing that you're like, okay, I'm ready to give this up? And if it is your kids, make sure you're not dropping them off at school right now. Wait till you get them out of the car, then
and
call.
then be honest.
Yeah, it just might be better. Okay, 855-33-WAY FM. We'll take yours now.
What's that for you, Missy?
I would definitely say my job. I want to give it back.
Yeah, it's great to have a job until it's not, you know?
I aspired to always move up the ladder. And God definitely answered those prayers and provided that opportunity. And now I'm like, hey, God, thank you so much for this awesome salary, but there's all this responsibility now, and can I just give that back?
Yeah, exactly. You know, you should have been more specific in your prayer. God, I just want more money. Yes. I do get that, because there's an element in different jobs of, as you move up, you actually get further away from doing what you loved about that job. Like when you get into management, say, all of a sudden now you're in meetings, you're dealing with HR, and you're not doing the fun part of your job from before. That's why I worked my way to the middle and it just stopped.
Don't expect any more out of him.
If I could go back and do it all over again, I would have kept the job with the mediocre responsibility and the lower salary, and not had the stress that sometimes you carry home with you.
Sure,
you know, and
I get that.
it bleeds into your family. So if you're out there, stay where you are.
Don't aspire to anything. All right, so maybe you're like Missy and you've got that situation where you're like, you know what? I really, really wanted this, but now not so much. I'm ready to give it back. We got time for one or two more. 855-33-WAY-FM. We'll take yours now.
We're having this conversation on our Facebook page. A lot of people are commenting on different things, and you can follow along if you go to facebook.com/Wally Show. Jennifer said, my minivan, it was great when both boys were playing hockey. It held their gear and sticks with room to spare, but now I want something sporty and fast.
You know what? And Jennifer, you deserve it. You've made it through the young years, and you need something sporty and fast. Like you're not a minivan mom anymore.
Right. Exactly. John says something that I know, Wally, you and I would emphatically agree with, something that he has now that he wants to get rid of. He said, this lousy Android phone.
Yes.
I regret every day ever giving up my iPhone. I'm going back to it as soon as I can get the cash. I don't care even if it's an iPhone 6.
Yeah, it's better than the latest Android at that point.
Amen.
I'm a little bit on the fence here, because there's part of me that's like, you left, we don't need to bring you back in. But then I'm like, you know what? Have some grace and bring him back in.
Be the bigger person.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a better world over here.
Honestly, too, I feel sorry for John's family and his friends, because I'm sure he's the one that's always creating the green bubble. And you're just like, oh my gosh, John, get it together.
John, you know, we'll buy one for you, John. You know, please.
That's how Gavin used to be.
We had this with Gavin.
He was the worst.
Betty Rock bullied Gavin into getting a new phone.
I did. I'll admit that. I did.
2.5
because
years.
it was terrible.
Yeah, it was abuse, honestly. Borderline abuse. But you know what?
Fine, yeah.
Thank you for doing it.
I got it changed, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. You're the best. I appreciate you every day.
And now for some good news.
Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show. We're going to do a little good news giddy up, because the regular news can be a little heavy. So, with that, we're going to give you 3 rapid-fire good news stories designed to make you feel worthy to God instead of Dawn.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a little boomhauer there in me. All right, so we're going to start with you, Betty Rock. Good news giddy up. Go.
There's a 70-year-old grandmother, 70. She heard that there was a lifeguard shortage this summer, so she decided to come out of retirement and take it up again, because she had been a lifeguard back when she was 16.
Wow.
So 54 years later, here we are.
Wow, that is pretty amazing, and I just can't even imagine what the sun's going to do to that skin. But no, good on her. Good for her. Good news giddy up. My bad. I forgot.
Stepping up. She was stepping up.
Forgot where we were for a second. That's my fault. Good news giddy up. Gavin, go.
There was a guy from North Carolina that used to have a classic 65 Mustang.
Nice.
But he sold it years ago when he had kids and he needed the cash. So, to thank him for it, his 2 adult children waited until he retired and recently bought him another one. They found a similar 1967 model and they fixed it up. Looked at the photo. Looks fantastic.
I got to tell you, if my daughter ever makes it in her career and I come home one day and in my garage there's a 79 Trans Am, I will lose my mind. I'd be like, that's the best ever, with the screaming chicken on the hood. Oh.
What?
Yeah, that's what the bird was called on the hood, the screaming chicken.
Oh, it does look cool.
So good, yeah. Smokey and the Bandit car. Finally here, there was a woman who recently got her master's in education from Harvard, don't you know? But there's a video going viral because she took off her cap and gown and had her mom wear it instead, kind of to honor her mom for, helping her and putting her through school and encouraging her to do this, because the mom never got to finish high school, so she honored her in that way. I think that's super cool. So there you go. That's going to do it for your good news. Giddy up.
Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes as well as connect with us on social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online and United Faith Mortgage for supporting what we do.